the recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
I mean, Led Zeppelin didn't write tunes that everyone liked. They left that to the Bee Gees.
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts the music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. It's going to be a good day today. Today on Machino Music, it's Led Zeppelin album ranking. Let's get right to it. Good afternoon, everybody. Led Zeppelin album ranking, that's what's happening here today. Led Zeppelin, one of my all-time favorite bands. I mean, just one of the biggest bands. I mean, who isn't a Led Zeppelin fan? Especially if you love hard rock, heavy metal music. I mean, one of the pioneers of heavy metal. Even though you listen to a lot of it now, it's not really heavy metal. But it was enough of an influence where you can kind of slot them in there, say they're heavy metal, whatever. But what matters most is this is a phenomenal band. And this was a very hard ranking to do. So forgive me if some of these may be a little controversial. I mean, I kind of struggled with this a little bit. I mean, I know what my real favorites are, but it's just sort of where some of the other ones kind of slot, like especially when we start getting to the beginning. But figured it out the best I could. It's more the bottom that was kind of a little difficult to figure out, but we'll do it here. So let's start at the bottom with the album CODA. Sort of like an unofficial album. I mean, this was sort of like just sort of a lot of leftover stuff, but it's sort of considered a studio album by the band. Because John Bonham had passed away, so there's a lot of leftover stuff. But this is pretty good. I mean, it's got some good stuff on it. I mean, it's not a fantastic album. I mean, again, it's a lot of leftovers. Of course, it has the amazing drum solo, Bonzo's Montreux. I mean, so cool. I mean, that's just, like, that's John Bonham right there. That's the tribute to John. That's, like, one of the best drum solos you're ever going to hear. I mean, so cool. That's pretty much the point of this whole album is kind of, let's put that out. Ozone Baby, I don't mind. We're Gonna Groove. Poor Tom. Yeah. Not bad. I mean, it's just a bunch of, you know, it's leftovers, but it's okay. Next, I'm going to go with Presence. This was kind of hard to rank. I mean, I really like this album. Got some really cool tunes. Achilles' Last Stand. Nobody's Fault But Mine. Yeah, really cool. And also, of course, they got that Object. That thing, that black object came a part of rock and roll lore, rock and roll history. Somebody brought that thing into there's again this other family, other people. Somebody brought this into Pawn Stars. So I have the original thing from Presence. I don't remember much other than that, like what they paid for or where it was a fake. Probably was a fake, but yeah. So that's how I rank Presence. I mean, this might be controversial because ahead I put In Through the Outdoor. I really like this album. This is kind of one of those people kind of say, ugh, it's like it's not one of their best. I mean, it's a little all over the place, and but still has some of my favorite tunes. And sometimes all it takes is that one song, as I say on these rankings, and Care Solombra is that one song. That's an awesome tune. It's like to me it always felt kind of like almost like a disco superhero song. Like a superhero tune, but it's like kind of disco, you can dance to it. Yeah, I really dig that tune. I like Hot Dog. I mean, it's silly, but I like Hot Dog. Fool in the Rain. I dig that tune. But yeah, this was a hard. I mean, I could put Presence ahead of this, but I don't know. I mean, there's Cara Solombra and the other tunes that I mentioned. Kind of put that one up just a little bit higher for me. Now this one was hard to rank, but did it the best I could. Led Zeppelin 3. I mean, this has got some great tunes. I mean, it just has like even just a one tune, and you just put it up a little higher. The Immigrant Song, so great. One of the early just sort of like heavy metal tunes. Heavy tune, awesome. And just sort of set the stage for like, even like vocally, the themes of heavy metal. That was a big spit I just did right there. But yeah, the Immigrant Song is just kind of like, almost one of those songs you could say it's like defining of Led Zeppelin. Celebration Day, Brawn Your Stomp I really like. But yeah, such a good album. Could have been higher, but I think I'm happy where it is. Next I'm going to go with the debut. You got to start somewhere. And some classics on here. I mean, this one could have been higher. I debated putting this one high, but it's just Good Times, Bad Times, Dazed and Confused, Communication Breakdown, awesome tune. One of the first songs I really remember like really enjoying by this band. Love it. Great debut. There they all are on the back. Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and John Bonham. Yeah. Just great. And look, well, just an iconic album cover. The Zeppelin going down. Alright. Next I'm going to go with Houses of the Holy. Should hold it like this. This album cover is very controversial. These naked children. So I'm going to try and hold it like this. but yeah, this is great. It's got some great tunes on it. And this one, I mean, this is one I struggled with this because this should have been higher. But it's so good. The song remains the same, which was the name of a concert film, which is just one of the best concert films. I mean, it's weird. It's out there because they had to make it very cinematic, make like actual movie scenes. So like a lot of cuts backwards and stuff doesn't make any sense. And you see Jimmy Page in the ruins here where these children are playing. So you actually see this is very hard to do, but I just don't want to show the thing. I mean, whatever. It's probably worse than I'm just putting my hands all over it, so I'm just going to relax a bit here. But yeah, the Crunge, really like that tune. Kind of like a real funky kind of tune. Dancing Days. Got the song Dire Maker, or as it's actually pronounced, Dijamaker, or Jamaica, which is like the English pronunciation, the British pronunciation. It actually comes from an old joke. It's very much of the band's sense of humor. The joke is two mates are talking, and one guy says, "My wife went to the West Indies." "Oh, Jamaica?" "No, she wanted to go." I can't control myself. Funny. But yeah, that's what it comes from. That's the joke. The sort of the English pronunciation of Jamaica, or did Jamaica. I don't know. So you can pronounce it as Dire Maker. That's what a lot of radio DJs would do. Just say, "Oh, here's Led Zeppelin with Dire Maker." I think I did that once. I think I played the song on my radio, on my old radio show, and said Dire Maker. And then I learned about the joke. It's like, whoa, I'm that fool who said it like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a cool tune. I mean, some people hate it. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, learning of the joke and sort of the history of it, I think it kind of, you know, it may kind of appreciate the song a little more. But yeah, it's kind of like this reggae, kind of like 50s kind of tune. That's what we're kind of going for, like a reggae with the, you know, kind of a doo-woppy kind of feel. So, not bad. And of course, this album ends with the epic, The Ocean. Ocean is so awesome. Great tune. And I'll put that away. Alright, coming up next, Led Zeppelin 4, or Zozo, as it's sometimes called. This is a great album. Black Dog. I mean, kind of a song you've heard to death. Can't really hear it again, but it's just still such a great tune. So awesome. Love Black Dog. Rock and Roll, another one that overplayed, but it's a great tune. It's fun. Battle of Evermore, awesome. Of course, Stairway to Heaven. I mean, it's just iconic. I mean, what more can you say? One of my favorite Led Zeppelin tunes, Four Sticks. Awesome tune. Love the groove on it. Heavy, heavy tune. Love it. Going to California, I like. And of course, at the end there, When the Levee Breaks. So cool. The album covers a guy's carrying sticks on his back. A lot more than 4 sticks. Okay, we're in the top 2, everybody. And my number 2 from 1969. Led Zeppelin 2. It's a great album. I mean, this is just... This was hard. Like, I sometimes call this my favorite album. But, I mean, it's just so good. I mean, Whole Lot of Love. I heard that song to death, but I still really dig it. The Lemon song. Kind of silly, but I dig it. Heartbreaker. Awesome. Like, just, I mean, the guitar solo on that. Jimmy Page. Ripping it. So good. Moby Dick. Love that. Love the groove on that. Bring It On Home. Great. Yeah, I mean, I just love this album. I mean, if you've never heard Led Zeppelin, this would be an album I would say, okay, you want to really get into Led Zeppelin, listen to this album. Their second album. Yeah, I would just say, just check this one out. If you've never heard the band, you just want to, you know, get a little sampler. You can get a greatest hits, but I think this one's pretty close to like just everything that the band really is about. And it's got so many classic tunes on it. But my number 1 is, and pretty well always has been, Physical Graffiti. Double album. And it's just so good. I mean, The Rover. Heavy song. Some would say the only true Led Zeppelin heavy metal tune. Can't disagree with that. I mean, it's just a heavy, awesome tune. How many bands would have been influenced by that tune? Got the song Houses of the Holy, not on the Houses of the Holy album, and actually ended up on here. Trampled Underfoot probably is my favorite Led Zeppelin song. It's heavy, it's funky, it's just amazing. I just loved just everything about that tune. Just so great. I wonder if there were discos that ever ended up playing that. I mean, it's definitely, you know, around like 1975, you know, I just wonder if there's discos ever playing, because they could have. Of course, you got Kashmir, big, epic, awesome tune. Actually, a bit of trivia, the scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where Mark Ratner gets the advice from his friend Mike Damone, Mr. Cool.
When it comes down to making out, whenever possible, put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4.
And then the next cut, Kashmir is playing. Now, people were like, for years, be like, oh, that's not on Led Zeppelin 4, that's on Physical Graffiti. So it was always this kind of thing. But Cameron Crowe explained it in the commentary, the DVD commentary. His sort of reasoning was, for one, it was like Led Zeppelin are notorious for not letting their songs be used in movies and television. I mean, to even get them was just an ordeal. It was not. But Cameron Crowe managed to do it because he had all these connections to, you know, being a rock journalist. So when he wrote the script for this movie, you know, he pulled a few strings and was able to get Led Zeppelin to sign off and letting one of their songs used. Happened to be Kashmir. And his explanation for it was maybe Rat only had physical graffiti. He didn't have Led Zeppelin 4, but it's like, oh, it's a Led Zeppelin album. And that makes sense. I mean, the character's, you know, he is kind of inept. He is a nebbish. Definitely fits the character. He would do something like that. So, yeah, makes sense. So that's probably why Kashmir was used in Fast Times at Ridgemont High in reference to that Led Zeppelin 4 joke. It's just a great album. I mean, there's so much on here, so many different styles. Really cool album cover, love that. It's got a big flat there. And with the title placed in all the windows. Just a great album. I mean, always been my favorite. I mean, I could say, I mean, Led Zeppelin 2, I said, I mean, though, I kind of struggled, but pretty well, Physical Graffiti's always been my favorite. So that's how I like the Led Zeppelin catalog. A little difficult to how to rank, but they're such a great band. One of the all-time great classic hard rock bands, heavy metal if you wish to call them that. Definitely pioneers. And if you're a fan of Led Zeppelin, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying good journey.